The regular city council meeting today is Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. Let it be known that all members of the council are present in this evening. I'm going to ask on Councilmember Espinoza to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll lead us in the invocation.
Please stand. Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing. Father, thank you so much for this day. I thank you for just the beauty and the love that surrounds this city, Lord, and just ask that you be with us every step of the way. Give us guidance and wisdom in the conversations that we will have just to continue taking this direction in a positive path forward. Lord, we are just grateful to be here with you and amongst amazing people. We thank you and love you. Amen.
Amen.
Oh. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to look for an approval of agenda. I believe this evening there's only been one modification, which is we are not having a closed session this evening. That is being removed from the agenda. Outside of that, any other adjustments?
No other adjustments.
Okay, no other adjustments. I need a motion and approval as a amended agenda removing the closed session.
I'll motion.
One second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Espinoza, second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Kraut,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
Given.
Yes. This evening, we'll move ourselves into public comment. Public comment is for any person wishing to speak on any item on the or within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. Speakers are invited to speak from the podium and address the city council. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes. Unless additional time is needed for translation, please state your name and address for the record before making your presentation. Public comment is open. Okay. Yasmina, nothing online, no emails. Thank you. Public comment is closed. Council announcements and reports. Councilmember Espinoza, I'll start with you this evening.
I wasn't able to make the graduation ceremony for the training officer Friday, but I did make their. So I just like to congratulate them and say thank you for them trying out for the police department and completing their training. I did participate in the City Hall chapter selfie day. So I came down and participated in that. I did attend an oath of office this last Monday for Carlos Romero Vicio. But I understand that he was employed with the city before and he returned, and so I'd like to welcome him back. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Olvera. Oh, wait, Councilmember Alvarado.
You know, I only had one event that I was participating. It was the food giveaway. It was on August 9th on a Saturday. There was about 576 cars and over 92 volunteers, and it was like 34,000 pounds of food that we passed out. We sort of estimated about 2,400 people got food that day.
That's pretty epic.
So that was a very successful, and it was something that it was everybody who participated who made it successful. It's not a one-man operation, so there's tons of folks involved. As you know, it was 92 volunteers, so that's a lot of groups of folks. And if I would go down and try to name everybody, I'll be here all night. So, but that was very successful because of everybody who helped out.
So who was leading the collection of food?
Actually, the food was donated by an outfit out of LA. The only part that we had someone had to pay was the semi. It was like a 42-footer refrigerated semi, full blown semi. The school, Richmond School District, did play a massive role in this. They allowed us to use their parking lot on Fresno, use where the solar panels were at. That became shade. So if it got hot, if it rained or something should happen, at least we had some kind of covered. They also allowed us to use their little playground or their little area there where they had picnic tables or some sort, round tables, and their restrooms and their forklifts. So it was like they built that location for this purpose. So.
Easy in and easy.
Yeah, it was perfect. Down Fresno, as you know, down Fresno, down towards, beach, that's the traffic went and the person who paid for the semi, Gus, you had to help me out. It's in Spanish.
It's Líderes Campesinos.
Yeah,
the organization.
they're the one
They
who,
paid for it.
they paid, for the semi just to come down to Shafter and it was I guess was these 1,500?
1,500 for the.
For the semi load. Other than that, everything else was free for the community, for all of us. It was a three-way partnership with the Lions Club, Shafter Family Resource Center and,
Líderes Campesinos.
Campesino.
Is that true? Yeah. Is Ramirez still out there?
No.
No.
No, this is not the
This
church.
is not, this is not the church.
Not
Yeah,
the
it's a
church.
different organization.
Good.
But Food Forward is the organization out of the, I think LA or El Monte area that
Yeah.
is the one that produced, that
Oh,
sent out the
cool.
food. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't able to go by, so I figured that worked.
So, thank you.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Prout.
Yeah, so I'd like to share the fact that on August the 6th, I did do a tour of the pool and pretty excited now. The pool is inviting because it's all ready to go. I mean, everything is finished there. We're just waiting for the building to be completed and get moved in, I believe, by the end of September. So then we'll have hookups for that, but it will be a nice project once we get it ready to go for next year. Then on the 7th of August, I did attend the kickoff meeting for the Colors event that we'll have in Shafter. It will be scheduled for February the 26th, which is the last Thursday of the month of February. And it'll run through Sunday, March the 1st. And as you know, we start off with a spaghetti dinner with our community chest, and then there will be a concert for the children from the school, which will include Richland School, Maple School, and Grow Academy. There'll be art, of course, and there's going to be a play with the Shafter High Drama Group. So that's just a start because there's lots of other events that happen in those 4 days. On the 8th, I did attend the Kiwanis Welcome New Teachers Day. Very well, I don't want to say attended, but very well done because of so many teachers that have been hired this year that have chosen to come out to Shafter and to Richland, Shafter High and to Richland, as well as the Grow Academy was there. Also attended the graduation ceremony for the three cadets that we had sponsored in there. So it's my pleasure to welcome them on behalf of the council. They were excited to have us there too. Staff was there and our police department was there. And if you have never been to one, you really should go because it's really very well connected in the feelings. Sergeant, I believe you were there, weren't you? Yeah, it is really a nice graduation. The families are there and their friends and they're very excited, but for us to be there and to witness it and to welcome them to our community is pretty special. And then, of course, their oath of office was on Monday morning here. So we pretty much have them all sworn in. So they're still learning a little bit more until we see them soon in the street. Also, the selfie day here at City Hall was well attended. We've always had it out there and not all cities participate, but I can say Shafter was there and you get your picture taken and then you get a little coupon to go get a snow cone and that was always cool. And sit out there, a little warm at times, but it was okay. It was fun. I did attend and listened in at the Planning Commission meeting for the last 2 months, and I think that was a nice opportunity just to hear some of the comments and some of the new laws that are coming in and affecting our housing for our city. Then also we had the oath of office for Carlos, and his family was there, his 2 children and his wife, and really exciting to have him come back. And he had to leave us for, I'm not sure if he was gone 2 or 3 years. Yeah, I know, but he was waiting to come back. He allowed his wife to be able to stay home with the children, so he had another job. And yeah, we just waited for him to come back, and he's pretty darn excited to be back too. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem Olvera.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Councilmember Alvarado said. Just the event was a huge success. I mean, I think there was one complaint and we'll address it on traffic, but that shouldn't be an issue. But other than that, I mean, a lot of families showed up to receive food. shoot, one gentleman came up, got some food, even was given a job. I guess he was going through some hard times, and they hired him there, and they were going to pick him up, provide transportation for him and everything. So I think everything went really well. So we're looking forward to future events like that. But thank you all who participated. I know the high school, a lot of students, high school students were there. I think it was FFA, some other clubs helped us out. So thank you all, the community that came out and joined. So that's all I have.
I gotta say, I love watching Shafter show up. This is kind of an interesting time of the year, and between the Stuff the Bus events and food drives and the community outreach stuff that we're seeing with the different clubs and churches, man, it's been really incredible to see Shafter show up. I would say more than any other community, this is one community who really does care about the people who are in that community, and they want to see people grow and be better. And I mean, a job offer on the spot is kind of cool.
Yep.
And so I love watching that. I love when people show up and help other people. That's what it's all about, right? Love your neighbor. So it's kind of a cool moment. All right, with that said, let's move into our consent calendar this evening. We have 11 items on our consent calendar docket. I'll read those briefly. Item number 1 is to approve general checks. Number 2 is to approve payroll. Number 3, approval of minutes. Number 4, accept the treasurer's report for June of 2025. Number 5, adopt resolution 3037. Number 6, approve the release of federal funding account last mile grant funding, and award a professional services agreement to Government Technology Group LLC in the amount of $252,000. Number 7, approve the expenditure for an extended maintenance contract per the quote provided by AT&T for the reimbursable amount of $23,675.26. Number 8, approve the renewal of the annual Adobe Acrobat Professional subscription in the amount of $13,384.08. Number 9, accept bids received on August 8th, 2025 for both the gas-powered and battery-operated electric trucks, and purchase the 3 gas-powered and 2 battery electric trucks from Richland Chevrolet, totaling $223,077.06. Number 10, authorize the city manager to execute a temporary license agreement with Derek D. Enterprises for staging and storage purposes for the soon coming North Shafter Community Park construction project. And number 11, prepare and issue a request for proposals for consulting services to develop economic development strategies. Questions, comments, or concerns? And if none, I need a motion and a second to carry, please.
I move it.
No second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilmember Proud, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Given.
Yes. This evening, we have one item on our public hearing, and that item is to conduct a public hearing and consider adoption of a resolution adopting increases in the water and wastewater service charges effective September 1st, 2025. And before we begin, is Henry on before I say anything? Rich?
I'm here, Mayor.
Thank you very much, sir. Before we begin, I would like to ask for our legal counsel, Richard, to explain the requirements of Proposition 218 governing this public hearing and the proposed adoption of the water and wastewater service charges. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to confirm everyone can hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. This public hearing was set in compliance with Proposition 218. The city mailed a notice of this public hearing to record owners of the properties subject to the imposition of the proposed water and wastewater service charges and tenants directly liable for the payment of such water and wastewater service charges. For example, customers of record who are not property owners. The date and time of this public hearing is not less than 45 days after the notices were mailed. The purpose of the public hearing is for the city council to hear all oral testimony and consider all written protests concerning the proposed rate increases. It is also held to determine whether there is a majority protest to the proposed rates and whether to proceed with the adoption of the proposed rates. Property owners and tenants are not required to provide oral testimony at today's hearing. If you wish, you may simply submit a written protest directly to the city clerk indicating your opposition to the proposed rate increases. However, if you wish to protest to be counted, you must submit a written protest prior to the close of the public hearing tonight. Written protests submitted during the hearing must be submitted to the city clerk. The public hearing will be closed after the city council has heard and considered all oral testimony on these items. Oral comments made today do not qualify as written protests. In order to be counted, protests must be in writing, state which rate or rates are being protested, include the name, parcel number, or the service address, and the signature of the person submitting the written protest. Any protest submitted by email or other electronic means will not be accepted as a formal written protest. All valid protests submitted to the city by mail or hand delivered prior to today's public hearing and received by the city since the notice of public hearing was mailed will be counted. If written protests against the proposed rate increases, are presented by a majority of the owners of the identified parcels upon which water or wastewater service charges are to be imposed, or tenants directly liable for the payment of such charges, the city may not impose the rate increases. If there is no majority protest, the city may impose the rate increases. Pursuant to state law governing Proposition 218, in determining whether a majority protest exists, only one written protest per parcel may be counted. I now turn it back over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, so before opening our public hearing, I need to ask staff, please inform City Council as to whether all valid legal objections received thus far have been responded to and presented to City Council. I presume I'm looking at, I have three of you to choose. Mike, is that you? Thank you, sir.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Chaffey City Council, that is correct.
Okay, so at this time, all valid legal objections have been received. Based on that information, I would like to ask for a motion and second to proceed with opening the public hearing. So council, I need a motion and a second to begin public hearing conversation.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, second by Councilmember Alvarado. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Gibbon.
Yes. With that said, we are now officially opening the public hearing for the item noted on the agenda, which is to consider adoption of a resolution adopting increases in the water and wastewater service charges effective September 1st, 2025 is open. Okay. That was a lot said. If you're here to have a conversation about the water and the wastewater, by all means, you're more than welcome to have that conversation here. It is a public hearing.
So the public hearing will be conducted in the following manner. Staff will first provide a report relating to the proposed water and wastewater service charges. After the presentation, the City Council will call upon any person wishing to speak on this item. After all oral testimony has been heard, the City Council will close the public hearing and, if needed, have a short recess to determine if a majority protest to the proposed rate increases has been received. Only those written protests submitted prior to the close of the public hearing will be counted. If you wish to speak on this item, please click raise hand on your computer or electronic device, or if you are calling in, press to indicate a desire to make a comment. I will call on you to speak at the appropriate time. You will be given a maximum of 3 minutes, so we ask that you keep your comments brief and to the point so that we can allow everyone a chance to speak. I will keep a time for each speaker. You will be notified when you have reached your maximum allowed time. If a previous speaker has already addressed the items you were going to speak on, you are not required to state them as well and have the opportunity to waive your right to speak. To facilitate the discussion, any questions from the speakers will not be answered during the public hearing. We will now provide a brief presentation on the rate.
Thank you, Yasmina. Honorable Mayor, members of the Chaffey City Council, I'm Michael James, Director of Public Works. I'm going to provide a brief presentation covering the proposed rate increases, and the slides I'm going to be talking over were basically presented at the public workshop a couple of months ago. We're going to start off with the remaining rate implementation schedule. We're wrapping up what's commonly referred to as the Prop 218 process tonight. The public workshop was conducted, I believe, on June 18th at the Betts Hall. So with that, at the conclusion of the hearing before you tonight, the City Council will have the option of adopting a new 5-year rate plan. That rate plan can go into effect as early as the September billing, I believe. So one correction I'd like to make to the schedule is that when we were in the public workshop phase of this process, initially we had plans to possibly convert people to tax roll billing for sewer and solid waste charges. Looking at it now, I think it'd be more appropriate to go citywide starting next fiscal year. So that's a completely separate process, and we will come back to you likely within a few months to walk you through that process. So the conversion to tax roll billing will not take place based on what we're doing tonight. Just some minor background that you probably already know, but the city owns and operates 2 utility enterprises, being the water and wastewater systems.
The water system basically consists of our groundwater wells, tanks, pipelines, valves, and hydrants, whereas the wastewater system consists of the network of collection pipelines, manholes, lift stations, and our share of a jointly owned wastewater treatment plant off of 7th Standard Road. Now, we're not here to discuss the impacts of solid waste rates. Those have been addressed through the franchise hauling agreement. So we're a fully franchised city. And so again, the solid waste rates have been determined by a Prop 218 process that included the franchise agreements that we have with the haulers. The water and wastewater rates were last adopted in 2021. That was year 5 of a previous 5-year rate plan that was adopted by the council in 2017. And the Finance Department and the Public Works Department have been studying the need for rate increases since 2023. So through the rate study, staff identified that service rates would not continue to fund or would not cover critical costs. You know, operational costs are pretty obvious. We have increasing labor costs, there's regulatory compliance matters, and PG&E billing. But what really stood out with this particular rate study is infrastructure costs, major maintenance and replacement projects for wells, tanks, meters, and fire hydrants. And not listed among the considerations in the slide is the wastewater treatment plant project that's currently being designed right now. That'll be a major reconstruction and modernization of that plant that will impact all of the wastewater customers, including our existing and new customers that our current financial plan is not adequately going to fund. So when considering new rates, staff had to meet our obligations and objectives while minimizing the economic impact to our utility customers. So rather than being aggressive with upfront increases, staff developed what we're referring to as a recovery plan that stretches out modest increases over an 8 to 10 year period. And so while that does stabilize the rate increases that we're needing, it does also require that the city eventually take on debt to make sure that our bills are being paid. So the city council's role in this strategy with the recovery plan is to adopt a rate plan that is the first 5 years of that recovery plan. Now, the reason why we can't go 8 to 10 years is because you're capped at the number of consecutive rate increases that you could approve, which is 5. This slide just provides an estimated economic impact to the most common utility customer that we have, which is a single family home that either has a 3/4 inch meter or a 1 inch meter. Now the sewer fee is the same for both of these scenarios, just the variability is with the water side of that bill. So in both cases, with the proposed rate plan, the rates will go up approximately 50% over that 5-year period, or roughly about 12% year 1. And if you're curious how Shafter's current and proposed rates compare with other cities and utilities, the next few slides will kind of give you an idea. Now, in this particular slide, we're profiling the water bill, the water side of the bill, the existing versus proposed, both highlighted in red. And so even with the proposed increase, we're still within the middle of the pack. And this is year 1. Granted, this is year 1. So there's going to be more increases to our rates, but based on what we know and what we've seen, there's going to be increases to the other utilities as well over the course of the next 5 years. This particular slide profiles the sewer side of the bill. Even with the proposed increase year 1, we're at the very lower end of the spectrum when it comes to what people are paying for sewer service. And this particular slide is just combining both water and wastewater, which is kind of an interesting slide because not only do you see what a typical bill costs total, but you kind of see like how much of that is distributed amongst the water and wastewater side. Again, this is not the total utility bill. That in some cases, there's solid waste charges that are not factored into this. So to conclude this presentation, we just want to emphasize that we're going to conduct a protest hearing, and at the end of the protest hearing, ask that you adopt a rate resolution to approve for rate increases over the next 5 years. And I will like to point out that I'm joined by Deputy Director Torres and Finance Director Sanchez if you have any questions relating to costs and operations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, we will now hear from anyone who wishes to speak on this matter. The pulpit is yours. Anyone online or digital? Yes, Mina?
No speakers online.
Have no speakers present. With that said, before we close for a public hearing, I would like to provide anyone one last opportunity to submit or withdraw a written protest. Now would be the opportunity to do so. The city council chambers is open to receive protests, and once the public hearing is closed, the city council may no longer accept any written protests on the proposed rate increases. So with that said, hearing none, seeing no one moving, this public hearing is closed. Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask the city clerk whether a recess will be needed to tabulate any results that you may have. Do you have any results?
No, Mayor.
No. All right. I now ask the city clerk to provide the city council with the tabulation results for all valid written protests. I believe the answer was no valid protest, or yes?
Prior to the close of the public hearing, we received a total of 1 written protest letters regarding the rates for water service charges, which was given to the city council for review. For the proposed rates for the city's water service charges, a majority of the owners of the identified parcels or tenants directly liable for such fees would equal 2,466. A majority protest does not exist to the proposed rates for the water service charges. Additionally, we received a total of 1 written protest letters regarding the rates for the wastewater service charges. For the proposed rates for the city's wastewater service charges, a majority of the owners of the identified parcels or tenants directly liable for such fees would equal 3,041. A majority protest does not exist to the proposed rates for the wastewater service charges.
Thank you very much. Based on that information, city clerk has advised that the number of valid written protests submitted prior to the close of the public hearing does not meet a majority protest and does not exist for the adoption of the proposed rates for the water and wastewater service charges. At the time, city council will now proceed to consider the proposed resolution to adopt the increases to the city's water and wastewater service charges. And as a reminder, the time for public comment has ended and the city council will not engage directly with any individual or customers or member of the public on said item. Public comment time is closed. With that being said, city council, questions, comments, or concerns in regards to the rate increases? And if none, I'm
Wait,
looking.
wait, wait. Mayor.
Okay,
Mike, where's this put us if we proceed with this in 5 years or the 5 increases and all that? Are we still behind the 8 ball? Are we even with it? Are we gonna be ahead of the program?
will you clarify, what do you mean by behind the 8 ball?
Well, I mean, are we gonna be still catching up to where we need to be? Or is this gonna put us current, or is this gonna put us ahead of the curve?
I don't think we're going to be in the red, but I certainly don't think we're going to have significant surplus of funds to accomplish some of the projects that we would need to address in the next few years. I think the game-changing project is the wastewater treatment plant project, and which is currently in design right now. And I believe our debt service is going to be substantial. And Mr. Sanchez can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking like somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 million to cover our share of that project. And so right now, we're just basically keeping, we're not gonna be in the red at this, but we're kind of like, it's gonna take us 10 years to get there to where we feel like we have adequate funding to address our projects long-term.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Any other questions or comments, council? Okay, hearing none and seeing none from you all, I need a motion and a second to carry for the adoption of the resolution to increase the water and wastewater service charges effective September 1st, 2025.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem O'Fara, second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Given.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, staff, for getting that prepped. Mr. Wall, thank you very much for your time in this as well.
Good evening.
Item number 2 is for, sorry, I'm jumping ahead. That is all of our public hearing items for the night. We are moving to our management report items. Item number 1 on our management report docket is the discussion and direction regarding the community gardens utilization of city utilities dash water. Sir.
So, council, I'll be presenting this item tonight after the last meeting where you received public comment from the community garden group on their water utilization. I received direction from Mayor Pro Tem Olvera to add an item to this week's calendar. So on the background for this item, back in 2012, the Shafter City Council took action to support a community garden project behind Sequoia Elementary School. That included all of the equipment and a year's worth of water. Unfortunately, due to some clerical errors, the water service has been carried over until present. We have met with the community garden group and we settled on September 1st as a date to discontinue water service to that area. As the least harm, it allowed them to harvest most of their fruits and vegetables out there and going forward. At this point, there is a recommendation from staff to support this ongoing, and the cost ongoing would be about $7,500. Putting it in context, the city of Bakersfield in July announced their own community garden. The budget for that is just under $750,000 to get that, and it is a much smaller footprint than what is behind Sequoia currently. Absent action by city council, we will be suspending water service to the 8 acres as of September 1st. If council does decide to go forward with supporting water to the community garden, I would highly encourage council to attach the time period to the current MOU with Richland that the group has executed. That way there isn't carryover and they're of the same term. Current utilization for the last year of service, the community garden used about 3.6 million gallons of water, averaging about 301,000 gallons a month. And the total cost of service for the year was just under $6,000. Any questions? I'm happy to respond.
Council questions, comments, or concerns? I would ask one, I guess for my sake, in the recommendation, does it actually note, I would have to go back and reread it, but does it actually note that it is tied to the Sequoia MOU?
So I left that off at council's discretion.
Thank you. So for the recommendation, if we were to go forward with it and make that request, we would just add that in there. Thank you.
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
My comment is that we did, and I was part of it in 2012 to get started with this, especially because the school was allowing them to use the facility. As you mentioned before, there was some clerical errors through these years that didn't materialize well. But my suggestion or my thought is that it is going to be time for them to consider another place. So they need to start looking even now to find another place so that maybe within the year, they could be ready to move to another place. As you can see, Richland is starting to build out more buildings in that area. And so they need to move on. And also my suggestion was that maybe they begin to pay for at least half of the water use over there, which would give them a beginning start to understand their costs and how they can operate in a more efficient way.
Yeah, sorry, I was writing that stuff down.
That's okay.
Carla.
I
Any other comments?
have a comment. I just, how long's the agreement with Richland currently?
I
What's
believe-
left?
I believe Martin said it terminates in 2027.
27, that's about it.
Mhm.
2 years?
Yeah.
So 2 years. I don't know if we could tell them to start looking for another place because it's not our property. Richland might want to continue having them there. So I don't think that's our position to tell them to start looking for another place. But the question becomes, if they did look for another place, will we continue the water wherever they're at, right? So that's become another question. I know a lot of communities do this. Now, how they get the funding, or if there's grants or there's outlets out there, I don't know. But I think staff could find that out, that there's how the McFarland's, Owasco's and Delano's, Lamont are, you know, how they do theirs, community garden, which I don't know. But if there's any money, any way we could get resources to provide, I think it'd be good, money wise to cover that cost. But if, you know, because they're doing it, right? So we don't have to create the wheel. They're doing something out there, all the other neighboring cities. They have this community garden. But for now, I like the idea to continue for the next 2 years, be hand in hand with Richland School District. And if they terminate and they decide not to allow them, then that's fine. At least they're the ones driving the vehicle. But it's just my comments.
Yeah, I have a comment. Thank you for bringing it up as well. To me, I feel, and I've had discussions, with the group. I've driven out there and seen what they've done. I just think that investment outweighs the return on something like that. It benefits our community. It benefits the members of the group that are out there. And I think continued funding is not going to be a huge detrimental impact to us as a city. To fund that, I think we invest in other areas as well that give huge returns, and I think this is one of those. But I do agree that it should have an ending and go in conjunction with the current agreement with the Richland School District and continue to pay for that. That would be my recommendation.
Excuse my ignorance on this question. 300,000 gallons sounds like a lot in a month. Is that, how many acres are we farming? Anybody know?
So I believe the group is currently utilizing a little over 2 acres of an 8-acre plot.
So that sounds like a lot for 2 acres.
So we did look at water utilization compared to typical farming practices. However, it was pointed out to me that it is more highly concentrated, the amount of crop utilization they're using, so their water utilization is going to be higher.
Fair enough. If you compare it to an acre, what is an acre usage of water typically? I apologize for not asking these questions ahead of time.
440?
440 acre feet? Not acre.
So
Gallons.
1 acre foot is 325,851 US liquid gallons.
Per month.
Right, that's correct. So they're using about an acre foot of water
Per month?
per month, yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
We just listened to a presentation right now, how everyone's water bills are going up. And then, we're looking at, something going 3 times as much as was originally planned, correct? The usage is,
So we gave them a year's worth of water is what we gave them. There was it wasn't set based on a set gallons.
a certain number?
No, it was basically just a full year's worth
Okay.
of water.
Okay, so then, this is clean drinking water that we're allowing them to use, right?
Yes, I did check with the Public Works Director. This is clean drinking water.
Okay, and then this is the water that's being distributed throughout the city that everybody's having to pay more for. And they're wanting to do what exactly now? Continue on?
They presented last time that they want to continue on growing out the food that they're utilizing that they're growing out there. It was stated by some of the presenters that they use it for home use, and there was some connection to the schools or something of that nature as well.
Okay. I don't see, how we can ask everyone else to absorb a price increase and then we allow somebody else to continue to basically get free water.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my issue with it. I mean, if they want to pay, that's one thing, but to allow them to continue on when we're asking the rest of the city to up the ante on their water bill, that to me doesn't seem right.
Go ahead, please.
I just have to me, the way I could look at it, this is like a public park. You have a public park, you gotta use water to sprinkler the grass, use it depending on how big the park is. This is, to me, I look at it as a community park. It's another park in the north side of town. That's how I'm looking at it. But, is there any chance that we could just get well water direct or non-filtered, type of,
I think that's
One.
well 17, but I don't know.
No, and I think we had some discussion about the purple pipes, the non-potable water and everything else. It's just the infrastructure really isn't close enough, unfortunately. And I think we actually, in 2012, council put all this equipment in special at that location.
that's all. Thank you.
Any other comments? I don't disagree with where you're headed to and listening to what you said, Councilmember Prout. There are no stipulations on the usage, correct? So you could water 2 acres of agriculture and you could also fill 6 water trucks and deliver it somewhere. Is there a stipulation that says what the water is used for?
There is no stipulation on water usage. However, it is value limited so that they cannot simply put this on trucks and sell it to other communities, which is why the recommendation is only to approve it up to $7,500. Any more utilization than that, and they'll exceed their current utilization for the first full year, which is 2024, for the last full year.
And it's been running them 5,800?
No, it was, oh, and I
thought it was-
apologize.
I thought it was
59, it's just under, it's $5,993.
I think the lack of stipulations is what I don't really agree with.
Do we need to have stipulations? It didn't have to have. I
So
mean, that's what we're
you don't
doing.
necessarily have to have stipulations because it's limited based on the amount of money. So once it exceeds that amount, the water service is then suspended and they would have to make up amounts on their own. So they could totally take a bunch of water and put it on a truck and sell it, but we would track that and it would reduce the amount they could use for the garden itself. So once they hit $7,500, that's it.
See, that's why I suggested that we at least get them to contribute towards it at this point, as well as begin to look for another area, because I believe Richland's gonna have to have that property out there.
Oh, they may, and I think
Yeah,
tying it,
It's at least give them a little bit of an insight.
I think tying it to the Richland School District MOU forces that. So that gives Richland the ability to say, hey, we need the land, MOU's done. So I think that's where that stipulation would come from. I guess I'm gonna say the dumb thing here. If we've been doing this and it's been 59, 93, 86, I guess, again, from what I'm seeing, why not just leave it at an even $6,000? And I know what you're gonna say, they're probably gonna go over it because of rate increases, but at the very least, we have some type of limit we've been accustomed to. And then that will let us know we're gonna bounce against that really hard, or no, we were using excess that we shouldn't have used and we need to bring it back down.
The $7,500 was based on the rate increase and the increased value of utilities. But it is up to council, however you guys want to set it going forward. At this point, there's really been no discussion, and we've met with the group multiple times on this. And I know Refugio has been great to work with. I know he's been working on the group, getting them marshaled and everything else like that. So I built in the up to 7,500 for the utility rate increase, but you guys could bring that down to some other amount as you direct.
See, that's why I
And just
suggested.
the thing is that the funding, you know, if they're getting grant funding, it takes time for them to plan that out and receive that type of thing. So it's not going to be instant, and to impact something like that, you know, it's going to be detrimental to it. And I understand what Councilman Espinoza is indicating as well, but this is something that's been in place for a while. It's nothing that's going to impact the budget. It's already built in. It's been built in for numerous years. So it's like if we put an end to it in the next couple of years and it ends with the Richland School District contract, then we move on from there. And that should be good.
Well, I think it hasn't been accounted for. It was a miscue on counting, right?
It
So
was a
we're
clerical error.
swallowing that. We're not.
Yeah, but that's not the group's fault either. That's
No.
my take on that. And I
Okay.
think the community's gonna suffer because of our mistake. I don't think that's right.
Well, I don't think I'm in favor of cutting it out completely. I'm just saying that they're preparing them so that we can have an insight for us as well as for the group that's out there.
Yeah.
It's not ending their project. It's not ending their program.
It could be detrimental if they have to pay for
Well,
this. They don't have the
You're
funding for it.
forcing me to vote
So,
no on it then.
Well, you mean, that's your choice. I'm not telling you how to vote. That's your choice.
Say that.
So that's not here nor there. We're just trying to explain the justification as to why they should stay in place.
It's fine.
If we made the mistake, why do they have to suffer? That's my take.
Can we meet in the middle? Can we, if we set this at the 7,500, can we meet in the middle and not wait for an MOU termination or adjustment in 2027? Can we have, I'm asking a lot, but can we have at least a mid-year, this is the current gallon usage and it's either remaining the same, going up or going down, obviously, and gives us an idea. So we force ourselves to say after 1 year, we know exactly where this is at. I know what you're saying at 7,500, man, if you hit that in 1 month, you're done for the next 11 months. I get it. But at least we have an opportunity to see where this is headed to.
So part of the process, if council decides to go forward with it, we can work into what we would basically set is we would set it on the term of the Richland MOU, but we'd have a 6-month monitoring process on it. So every 6 months, we would pull all of their water utilization for the 6 months. We would report that out to council and then bring it in
Okay.
as necessary. But I can build, because the amount is under the city manager's discretionary limit at this point, I can build that into the agreement before the September 1st date, without bringing it back to council.
Gotcha.
But the 7,500 is for the full year's usage, it's
Yeah.
not per month.
Yes, full year. Sorry if that was my fault.
No,
You're
you
good.
said that.
It's roughly a little more than $600 a month, if I have my bearings right.
And realize like any farming operation, the water utilization in the summer and the main growing months is significantly higher.
Yeah.
So
What what I just am trying to understand is that if we know the cap is at 7,500, we monitor it every 6 months. If they're higher or lower, what is that gonna do? We're not gonna make them stop because they're still capped. The safety net is 7,500. Once, like someone mentioned, if 7,500 is done in 1 month, they're done for the rest of 11 months.
There won't be anyone.
Huh?
I
I'm
think,
just saying.
I think it's just to know where things are at, right? Is this is this an accurate place to be, an accurate number? You know, what happens if you're at month 10 and you've spent $2,300?
But it's their loss if they burn it all in 1 month.
But if you get to a point where you're spending much less and that's a realization, is there going to be an excessive amount at that last minute? So I think having a monitoring on it gives everyone kind of a safety net that says, listen, the way they're tracking right now, they're going to go over, or the way it's tracking right now, we're spot on. I think it's just one more safety net. I agree with Councilmember Prout. I don't really have a desire to see this go away, but I do have a desire to make sure there's accountability associated with it. And I think that's what's lacked for so long. Because, you know, tied to a Richland MOU, and Richland doesn't really know what's happening with it either, but it's a community garden, so Richland kind of looks at Shafter, and Shafter kind of looks at the community garden, and everyone's like looking at each other, but no one's, there's that Spider-Man meme, they're just pointing at each other. So I agree, I think there needs to be some form of accountability, and that's the only thing I'm asking for. Is there a stipulation on what is able to be grown out there? And I'm saying it for very specific reasons, not agriculture, but is there other
So
things that can be grown?
that is all under their land use agreement, which is in the MOU.
Okay,
So,
good.
and what we would do, because we didn't actually do an original agreement and the amount didn't really warrant it at the time, we would actually write this out as a full MOU, referencing and incorporating as an exhibit, the Richland MOU as well. That way the term is set and all the documents are in a single place so that they can be easily utilized.
I don't have a problem with the monitoring or the you know, every 6 months, you know, check and balance concept. But again, you go back to what you just mentioned was a good point about what you're planting out there. It could be, I think you do carrots and it takes a lot of water, right? I think it was carrots.
I wasn't so much thinking agriculture on that issue. I want to make sure nothing else is grown as well.
Oh, okay, well,
You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
maybe they just do pistachios and all with good system. No, I'm just playing. But you know, okay, that sounds good.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, seeing none, I need a motion in a second for what is at hand.
I'll make the motion.
Are we adding, I'm gonna ask the question, are we adding tied to the MOU?
Tied to the MOU.
Give me a second. So we can put on the motion, with term limits tied to the Richland School District MOU.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
In the amount again?
The amount was 7,500.
75?
So I have a motion for approval of the 7,500 on a per year tied to the Richland School District MOU. Motion made by Councilmember Olvera. I need a second to carry.
Every 6 months monitoring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you taking the second on that?
Yeah, I'll take a second, but you gonna add that or not?
I don't know. Do we,
You realize the 75 is for the full year.
Right.
Uh-huh.
do I need to add
You
that?
don't need it. I will
Thank
put
you.
that
So
in.
one
Oh,
month
okay.
may use more than another month, so you're not going by the month, you're going by the year.
Right. It was just budgeted for 7,500.
7,500
Okay,
per
second.
year. That's
Second.
correct.
Okay. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, second by Councilmember Alvarado. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
No,
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
No,
and Givens.
Yes. All right. With that said, we're going to move into item number 2, which is the Downtown Facade Grant Program. Councilmember Espinoza.
Before council member leaves, can he give a reason why he's leaving the room?
Councilmember Espinoza has recused himself as he has a business downtown that would be affected by this said grant.
Did I close the door?
Thank you, Mayor.
Sorry about that.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Shafter City Council. My name is David Franz. I'm the Director of Community Services.
You're good. He just was shutting the door. He's refilling coffee and shutting the door.
Oh, okay.
He was shutting the door, but while he's so close to the coffee pot, he decided to refill the coffee.
I understand.
Doors heavy.
So this item is coming back to you following your June 15th meeting where you approved $200,000 toward a facade grant program. This lays out some of the details of the operations of that program. First of all, sort of the rationale for a program like this. We're only as good as our downtown. Our downtown is very prominent. That's how we're evaluated as a community. We also don't have, as a city, we don't have direct control over most of the properties and that we see when we go downtown. And this is this kind of program is a way of encouraging private business owners to invest, building owners and business owners to invest in their properties to improve the look of downtown and it can have a pretty significant effect over a concentrated area. Right. So the program is designed to spread the money out over up to 20 businesses. So if 20 businesses each maxed out their grant, there would be 20 that are eligible. This is the kind of thing that would be the starting point if this was approved. This advertisement, this would be something that would be available, that would be put out to the businesses. It would be visible at the building department. This is just a draft. This is something that we just came up with just to kind of give you a sense of how we would be letting folks know so that they wouldn't have to necessarily be going through the details of the grant program or the application to know that it existed. They would then fill out an application, deliver it in person to the building and planning window. It would be reviewed for completeness, time stamped, and then go through the typical process that we have for approving changes to a building. If it needed a sign permit, if it needed an encroachment permit, if it was going out over the sidewalk, those processes would follow the same processes that would be involved for anything. With or without a grant program. So the eligibility, the main eligibility requirement is location. So this is, hopefully you can see, just to orient you, that's Central Valley going across the northeast side of the triangle, and then Shafter Avenue on the west side, and Lerdo on the south side. The properties outlined in red are those that are currently used as commercial properties. And so these are properties that would be eligible for applying for this grant. You'll notice there's some residential properties that are not included. I will note that the entire triangle is zoned commercial. And so it's possible that a business could occupy one of those residences, and then, if it were to become a business and get a business license, then they would be eligible to apply for this. But a business license is required, and so that's part of the process. So so there's in the report, and what I've given you in the staff report, there's an outline, sort of a summary of the program as designed. There's also an application form that applicants would need to fill out, and these are of course subject to change, but they have been reviewed by legal counsel, and they're similar to what other communities have done. So with that, I will be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Questions, comments, concerns, council?
I do have one, or a couple. On the packet, I know that it talks about the fiscal year, I think it's 25 or 26, I think, or the years covers 25, 26. If a business has already done some work to their building, could they apply for this and submit the application, or is there going to be like a date moving forward from this
Yeah.
date on?
So unfortunately, it wouldn't be, as designed, it wouldn't be eligible retroactively. So you couldn't, I noticed there were some businesses that were doing some work. And since they've already done that work, they wouldn't be eligible for this program.
Okay. And then the second one, I read on there that there's like, they have an opportunity to file like for a 30-day extension if they don't have the project completed or that type of
Within a
thing.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can there be like a form designed for them so that, or can it just be just a written email to somebody or some direction so that they know what to do for that?
Sure.
I think that's all I have.
Very good. Any other questions or comments in regards to item number 2?
You mentioned 20, the first 20, correct? The first 20?
So, right, so assuming that, so once we've committed, once the project has been submitted and accepted, that money will be, reserved, right? And so it's possible that some projects would cost $5,000, in which case, if every project cost the city $5,000, then we would have 40 eligible projects. It's just a matter of how large those projects. So the minimum number, if we were to exhaust all the funds, would be 20. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. So that'd be for one fiscal year or how's that?
So the program is limited, and I apologize, Director Franz, I don't mean to cut in. The program is guaranteed for a limited run, just based on the amount of money that you guys have okayed at this point. So council's approved the 200,000. I did want to point out, because I think it goes to both your points, that there is a match portion that is required from the business as well, which is 50%.
Yes, sir.
So some of the items that you were talking about may qualify for the match and the offset, I believe, correct? Some of the prior work, or is that incorrect?
No, it does note in here, any prior work, if you did not get approved, if you did the work prior to your approval through a building development, you're not eligible for the money.
Then I pull
No
that back.
retroactive.
Yeah, no, there's no retroactive. And if you, even if you, based on the way I read it, even if you submit for your project, I'm putting a new sign up, and now that I've submitted for it, I just put my new sign up. But if I wasn't approved for the sign, I still am not paid for it because I need to wait for my building approval.
Sounds like council has a program better than me, which is a good thing.
And just
I
reading.
mean, I don't expect that the approval for this project, part of the reason why it's designed the way it is to reduce the headache for our business owners. And so the approval for this project is basically, did you submit the things that we asked you to? And if you did that, there's not a lot of staff discretion. It's going to be approved.
And I think to your point, Councilmember, if 20 businesses, pretty much it would be spending $20,000. So if 20 businesses spend $20,000, we're covering half. So that would be immediately taken out. If 40 businesses do half that, right? It's just a matter of what each business will do. One might just do signage, one might do a canopy, one might do painting, canopy, and signage. It all depends. I believe if I'm counting your wonderful little squares here, there are 73. I might have
Wow,
one
I was gonna
off, so
say,
I think there's
yeah, that's-
74.
Very good, yeah. And I think that some of that would depend on if it's a building that has, if the owner is applying and does something for the whole building.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's right.
Any other questions or comments?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, hearing none and seeing none, I need a motion in a second to carry, please.
I move we go forward on this facade grant program as written.
A second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Prout, second by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
and Given.
Yes, with the abstaining due to Councilmember Espinoza's recusal. If you will go get him
Okay.
for us, please. I appreciate it. I hope people take that up. I really do hope people take that up, sir. I guess if I would have paid more attention, I would have asked the question of, is there going to be a color scheme for downtown? We may have just paid for a pink building.
Bright orange.
I
Well,
can see any colors.
can we put color schemes in there so no orange can be placed on
Said bright
downtown?
orange.
Or the name tiger and color orange is not allowed downtown. All right,
Specifically.
very specifically on that one. Item number 3, the logo style options for council chamber dais and city entrance signs. Ms. Rachel.
Yes, good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Some more discussion for you guys tonight. We're gonna be discussing both your guys' options with the logo here in the room of the council chamber dais, and then also the entrance sign. So we'll discuss the dais first, and then let you guys have discussion, and then once that is settled, then we'll move on to the entrance signs. With the recent adoption of the city's branding standards, the next phase of implementation is on its way. And that's to support the use of in-commerce requirement from the state of California for our trademark application. Just to provide you guys with an update, we are still currently working with BB&K on that trademark application, and it's in process. Back in July, we started implementation, and you might have noticed social media, our newsletter, our email signatures, city agenda, city stationery, some business cards for those that have ordered them, utility billing, business licenses, community promotion items and exhibit items. So that would be city canopy, tablecloths for us to do community events. We have ordered some swag, some apparel, hats, and some pins, which some of you guys are sporting tonight. As we continue with implementation, we are going to begin implementation of vehicles. If you walked in this evening, you might have noticed the Equinox sitting out in the back. The website update is coming as well. Banners. And while we're here tonight, signage. So first we'll discuss council chamber dais, this room here, which logo option council prefers, the placement of that logo. So whether it be down here or off to the back on the wall, and the fabrication method and vendor of that logo. The logo down here in front of the mayor was created by Raymond's Trophy. I'm not sure previously to that. What's that?
Is there a logo there?
Yeah. You didn't know?
I didn't know. It's because it's so low, I didn't see it. I didn't even realize it was there. Sorry.
Yeah, it's right in front of you.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's just the same as you see off to the side, it's just a lot bigger. And it's what used to be behind you. So these were created by Raymond's Trophy. And while that's still an option for you guys to consider, I wanted to propose, and staff wants to propose, the opportunity to collaborate with Shafter High on this particular project when we're talking about the dais. Whether it's Shafter High's welding department or their wood shop departments. During last year's Principal Partners Day, for those that you attended, we were very impressed, staff, by the high quality and craftsmanship that the students produced there at Shafter High. Partnering with Shafter High for this project will not only promote community engagement, but it will strengthen the city's existing relationship with Shafter High. I just want to note that we have discussed this with Shafter High, and they're excited if the opportunity is offered to them. This would also provide you guys a cost-effective solution. The city can compensate the program, whether it's the welding or the wood shop, and provide by either providing a donation or in support of student projects and resources to the department. Now, I will like to note that we have partnered with Shafter High in the past on the media end. So the city promo video we did over a year ago, we partnered with their media department with Mr. Perucci, and they invoiced us for the work done during school hours under Shafter High. And then in addition, the teacher also invoiced us for any work done after hours. So that's just an option if you don't want to use Raymond's Trophy or another vendor. With that, oh, there's your logo that's in front of you, Mayor. This would be the full option, full logo option. So this is our primary logo now. So whether you would want it off on the wall behind you or down at the bottom. You also have the option of doing the seal logo option. And then the options on the sidewall. So you have some choices as far as, the placement, the vendor, how you want it manufactured, if you want metal, wood, and then on the side as well. So I can go back to either slide, but oops, what did I do, Yasmina? Oh, there we go.
Can you go up one slide, please?
Back.
Yes, please. Well, you don't have a side by side of those. I guess we'll start there. Kat, can we do that?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so council, in regards to
So
logo,
the first option would be the logo option. Would you prefer the primary logo?
yeah,
Oops, sorry. Or the seal?
I'll start.
Primary,
I like primary.
primary logo.
And I
for
do
the
like
back.
it behind me, so I
Yeah.
know it's there, by the way.
You know it's down there.
I
too.
don't
Look at
remember
all
it.
the time.
I don't
Oh my
remember that.
gosh.
I do want to note that
I'm
we
gonna take
used
his
to
picture
have
next time you
this
look at it.
emblem behind you. When we do oaths of office and that sort of thing, we're able to see that behind you in the photos.
When it's up here,
Correct.
yeah,
When it's down here, keep in mind that we can't see that
right.
behind a photo.
You know, on page 7 of their, excuse me, of the materials you sent out,
The design standards.
the designs,
The exhibits,
yes, page 7.
okay?
The logo on color,
Are you talking of your?
On the design
The-
standards, the design standards.
Uh-huh.
because it would take away the stark wall and it would tone it down so that you have a warm look
Yeah.
to it. Because my original thought, and we talked about even doing a mural back there after this was put down here.
Oh, what again? A
Pardon?
mural?
Yes.
Okay.
But a mural would be very subdued. It would be very, very faint in the background. Not that it was even gonna have Shafter written on it, but that needs, this wall color could change and put the Shafter City as it is in the, well, 1, 2, 3, the third section down. Logo on color.
Logo on color.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying the main logo, but have a mural behind it?
Well, change the wall color. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's all totally up to you guys.
Well, I talked to an artist and she liked the idea too of having a very background subdued look that might have some kind of a design or something that incorporates with it, but I like it even plain.
I like palm trees there.
Yeah, well, yeah, you might call it that, but I don't know that that's what's gotta have. I mean, yeah. I just think that there needs to be softened. This is too stark.
Maybe start with the first part of that conversation, which would be seal or full logo.
So I had
So
two full
seal
logo.
or the one before that, please.
Yeah, the full logo, I guess.
Or full.
so, mm.
So I think let's start with that option first. Which, as a council, are we leaning towards full logo option or seal option? You said
And
full
keep in
logo.
mind, the full logo is the primary logo.
Correct. So I think there's 2 of us for full. I don't know where the rest of you stand, full or seal. Full. Full.
Full.
Full. You're good with
Which
full?
one are you calling full?
Next one.
Yeah, the one before.
Yeah, the one before that.
Yeah,
one.
right, that one.
You're good there.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll start with the
Okay.
basics, right? We're gonna do this
Okay.
piece by piece, if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay, I don't disagree with you on the color, because I think,
Yeah, it needs to go away. It's too stark.
So I think
hello, that's.
before you decide on any color or anything on the background, deciding on placement, because it's gonna matter if it's going down here, you're really not gonna focus on color on the wall. Got it.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Well, to the window, to the door, how about just to the wall?
Of course, you guys already know. I
There's a
mean,
teen who knew that.
it's not my style, but we have to have it, so we'll do it.
So full logo, back wall. And then go to the next, which would be your sides. Before we talk colors, go to your sides.
Okay. Now we can just leave In God We Trust, and then you have the flag there. If you do want a logo, you can do the seal. or you can do the full logo. Now, keep in mind, if you do the full logo, you'll have
You
two.
already have the full.
Yeah.
I like the seal up there
Can't just leave it the same way it is.
with the old logo.
Yeah, it's right there.
We
Did you
don't,
see it?
I do, that one, I saw that coming. That one we don't implore anymore. That's, the old logo is no longer in existence, so it would be,
Some of the past and some of the future. No, past and present.
in God we trust alone, in God we trust with the full, in God we trust with the seal.
I say in God we trust with the seal.
Okay? I'm repeating the same thing. I would agree. Any agreements or disagreements with that?
I would just go with in God we trust. The seal, I still haven't got the grasp on this.
Okay, fair enough.
It's fine with me. That's why I said leave it the way it is.
Like the seal.
Okay, I got 3 for the seal, so consensus, we'll talk 3 on the seal.
Okay. And then color.
Well,
And
that's a
color, I
whole
guess, will
different-
also depend on fabrication and the vendor. So whether we're gonna go with Raymond's Trophy, it's gonna be something similar to what you're looking at now. And then deciding the color for that metal. Or if you're doing wood, are you gonna have any shaded color in there? If you've been to the wood shop at Shafter High, they've had different projects, so I think color is gonna depend on whether you go metal or wood and what vendor.
I do like that you're tying with Shafter High. That is actually really cool to be able to do that. My question on the 2 materials, if you're tying with them, if you go with the metal, if you're looking at the old logo, you notice that the metal has the background associated with it.
Mhm.
Your photo, it doesn't have that, which I like that, which would theoretically bring out, if you have a color pop behind it, it would bring that color pop out. If we go with the metal, are they going to require a backing behind it?
So that would be, depending on what you guys decide tonight, that would be the next step, is meeting with whichever department you choose, meeting with them on the design and what it would look like before they would move forward.
My preference would be not to have the backing behind it.
So you would want a 3-piece logo, kind of like what we're gonna discuss here in a bit for the entrance signs.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little difficult putting together.
We believe in you.
Council, if I
Some
could,
engineering.
oh my God. If I could suggest, it may be best to hold off on the color discussion until we can get some designs from the high
Yes.
school, actually get them to you guys,
Yes, sir.
take a look and stuff. If you go with the high school.
I don't
Yeah.
disagree.
Yeah,
That's why I was asking on materials, because preferably I would rather not have the backing behind it and allow it to be, I guess you're calling it 3 parts. To me, it looks like more than 3 parts, but
Well, if you consider the line, yes, 4.
yeah. So, I don't know which one would be easier for them to deal with, but I think you have 2 very talented teachers, who could
And-
handle it.
I agree, but it also depends on your preference. If you want to go with Raymond's Trophy or for us to seek another vendor, or would you prefer us to discuss this with the welding department or the wood shop, because they are 2 different departments.
I say go with the high school and do both.
No, well,
One of each.
yeah.
On each side?
I personally would say go with the high school. I would ask the questions of each of them first.
Okay.
Because the real question is, if you go with the welding shop at the high school, are they going to require, just like you're seeing there, the backing, the bronze backing that you're seeing behind it?
Mhm.
Or is he going to be able to keep it in the look that you're seeing here, without that backing? If he says he can do it in that look, then the question becomes wood or metal, right?
Okay.
But I think you got to figure out what they're capable of doing at that point. But I do think it's a kind of a really cool deal to work with your local high school to do that.
So if I'm listening correctly, work with both departments at the high school and see what they have to provide. And you want us to bring those options back? Is that correct?
Yeah, and they can have a duel, and whoever wins the duel,
Yeah, there you go.
you want us to pick somebody. You can't pick somebody. That's not right.
Wrestling match.
Have Woody pick.
Yeah.
Woody can pick which one he wants out of that one.
Okay,
Oh, no, we're not doing
There
that.
you go.
Yeah,
You're with me.
there's a door.
Mhm.
okay. So full logo, on the wall, placement on the wall. We had 3 with the seal off to the side wall under God We Trust. And then we will reach out to Shafter High, to both departments, and see if they can give us some designs for us to bring back to council for decision. Is that correct?
Yes, yes,
Got it.
thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. City entrance signs. So currently, the city entrance signs, I believe, the actual logo was created by Vital Signs. I do want to note that we are gonna keep the existing monuments. So the only thing that's coming off of those monuments is the actual logo. Everything else will stay, so we can preserve some of the old character of the previous logo. And then just replace the logo to reflect the current brand identity. So with that, there's 2 options, and then there's also color options. So 1-piece logo or a 3-piece logo, I'm gonna say maybe a 4-piece because of that line. And then the logo color, depending on the preference style that you choose. So this is an all white logo. Again, it's 3-4-piece logo, so it's pieced. It doesn't have any backing. As you can see, kind of like Mrs. Prout said, it has a background. Just like if you had a background on that wall, color, you're gonna have a brick background. Then you have the option in the colors, in the primary colors of the green and the gold color. Also 3-piece, 4-piece option. And then these 2 next ones are 1-piece options, which is kind of what we were talking about with the backing. These were provided by Vital Signs, so that's a white background. And then there it is in the green. And as you can see, the backing does hide the background of that brick rock facade that you have back there. So those are your options on how you want the city to move forward on getting quotes and what's the look that you're looking for when coming in to the city of Shafter.
Questions, comments?
Yeah, can you go back to number 1 again?
Mm-hmm.
The green?
The green one,
Yeah, yeah, the green and gold. Can't you just do them all like that?
like how,
Like this one? Like the,
whatever
no,
council.
I'm just,
Is your mic on?
1 piece.
yeah, can you,
Just wanna make sure.
can you just make them all like that? I mean, because we're bouncing different colors, it just,
So
there's no
this
unity.
option is the 2 primary colors that
Green
you adopted in the
gold,
branding.
right?
So with the green, I mean,
That looks
it's
nice
good
right there.
to note that it brings out the green from the top of the awning of the monument.
right.
If you did the white, it kind of brings out, let me go back.
Looks
The
faded.
railing that
Yeah,
has
yeah.
your little,
Yeah, it looks faded. I mean, just my thought.
Yeah,
and
the
it could
other
be
page.
pixelated. It's a design. I mean, that's not exactly how it would look. It'd look a lot better.
On a foggy night or something, foggy day or something.
Yeah. Maybe adding lighting. I mean, I know there is lighting, I believe at that particular one, might be solar. But that's also an option.
I like the primary colors. I think it looks good, stands out.
You know,
Easy
the
to
one,
see.
excuse me, the 1 piece is really good because when you're out there working and doing displays or whatever, it helps because of the spider webs and the cleanup and whatever has to be when you have just the 1 piece versus having 3 different pieces that are made up. Yeah, it's smart looking and it just, yeah, you can see the difference. Whereas here they have the 3-piece, 1, 2, 3.
I think that's where the pressure washer comes in at.
Well, you don't have a pressure washer out there.
We do. We have one, we have a trailer.
I don't disagree on the primary colors on the
Yeah.
3-piece option.
Primary colors with the backing or without the backing?
That, the 3-piece option is without backing,
This one?
yes. The only reason I like the white, I'll be honest with you, it kind of does capture me a little bit, but the only reason I like the white is if you can do something with light. right? So I don't know the answer to that, but if you had background light behind it, could you do something with it for festivals, Colors Festival or Cinco de Mayo, Christmas? I don't know what kind of options you can play
You're
with. and
talking
stuff
about
that.
kind of
The
like,
white, if you were to go to the white,
like
not the
the-
green.
the bridge out at Lost Hills that you can change the
Yeah.
color? Okay.
Kind of along those concepts.
I guess that would be a question for Public Works if there's capability of
I
having.
can see your eyes over there going, say no.
Yeah.
That's the only reason the white pops to me is what can you do with it because of it being white?
Answer.
It's
So
on.
I would say if we are gonna wire a sign for lights, it's gonna be significantly higher than what we originally anticipated.
Mhm.
It's about 6,000 to 8,000 a monument to swap out these signs currently. That doesn't mean that down the road they couldn't be wired for light and everything else like that, but, or we could just swap the bulb.
There's an issue even with this, with the lights that's already on there.
Yes, there is.
Now, keep in mind that pricing that city manager just mentioned is with the backing. So I think that if we go with the pieces, it's gonna be more expensive.
Mhm.
I like the three-piece option. I'm good with white or primary. It sounds like you like the primary color. You're liking the primary
Primary.
color.
Yes, sir.
I like the white backing.
Which one?
This one?
Yeah, that's the one he's got.
I think it makes it pop.
And you're liking the green backing?
Yeah, either one of those.
She's liking, so I got two backings, two without backing. Is that a correct
The
statement?
one piece, uh-huh.
I'm liking the three-piece, the without backing.
So I have three-piece primary colors and two
Which one do you
different
want?
other
One
ones.
piece?
Yeah, the three-piece,
This?
that's correct.
And the primary color,
Yeah,
Correct.
that's correct.
and your primary.
Primary.
It brings out the grass.
Oh, my, like
Hmm.
the. So three-piece primary color.
Mhm. No lights.
Yeah, no lights, okay. Settle down, Chad, settle down.
That's all I have, unless you guys have anything else for me.
Can
Any other suggestions
I piggyback on Councilmember Prout's comments?
from the dais?
From
Or
in the room, I don't disagree with you. The white room feeling is not really working for me.
okay,
It's something that maybe we can bring back later to council. It'd be really cool to have photos on the wall, like whether, I mean, we're a family oriented city. So from events and family, just stuff on the wall that really promotes who we are, colors, whatever, just something more than white.
We'll bring back, some photos from the events and stuff like that where we've got, media clearance and stuff to utilize the images and stuff. And we'll bring that as part of the entire process. So we'll get the design images, at least for the internal walls in here. You guys can then pick colors. So we have that and we can go forward. At the same time, we'll bring, some photos that we can use as well and have council pick what images are displayed. If you want to go that.
So
You're talking about putting frame pictures?
No, not here, but like on the side, to change the
like the brick
color,
wall?
put some frame pictures out, just something more than what it is. Cause all you see right now is a map, a TV and us, and that's not cool.
And that's fine.
Something to highlight.
do you
who we
want
are.
those photos that we bring back to be in
Put it-
color and black and white, or?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would suggest come back to a council meeting
Okay.
with
We'll just
actual
bring a
proper
selection.
discussion.
We'll bring a selection, yeah.
Sounds good.
can I just make a comment here? The photos, I love photos, right? Where I have a challenge is the photos of folks that we know in the community. Because then it becomes a question, why isn't my parents on that photo? Why are my cousins on that photo? Why am I, we've been here for 100 years as well. And so I think we just try to keep families, in my personal opinion. Try to put, if we're gonna put photos, history of this town, you could put potatoes, you could put cotton, you could put trees, you could put harvesting, ag to go with that. But I just have a challenge when you start having people that we know, family members up there. It becomes their photo album of the community. So I just thought to make it fair, you have a diversity of folks in this community who says, well, why is it just certain families are always up on the city walls?
And that's why I wanted to have it come back to a council meeting, just so we can actually have the conversation.
Yeah, we'll bring it back. And,
Thank you.
council, best practice on a lot of these isn't to use actual images of people locally. You typically need media clearances and stuff before you can use their images. So generally they go with more stock photo setups, but we'll bring local photos. We can bring some more generalized ag photos as well. We'll bring about a set of 20 or 30. That way you guys have.
Well, when you
Use
mention
AI.
history is really good. We lost one wall already down here that has history on it. and,
Yeah,
uh,
history's great. History's beautiful.
And history
uh,
can work.
But it's just when you start having my
Mhm.
grandpa up there and my uncle up there and my grandma up there and
You
they're,
can't have all of them.
no, but you start having my family up there, you know, I'm sure there's people that have been here quite some time that they would like to see their grandpa up there too.
Anyway, something to bring back, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back after our discussion with Shafter High. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, item number 4 is the real property for right-of-way purposes for Highway 43 and Santa Fe Way Roundabout Project. Mr. James.
Honorable Mayor, members of the Shasta City Council, Michael James, Director of Public Works again. Work continues on the city's pre-construction obligations for the planned roundabout at Highway 43 and Santa Fe Way. Among the ongoing work is acquiring new right-of-way as specified in the design being performed by Caltrans. So with the assistance of a consultant working on behalf of the city, multiple property owners have been acquired for acquisitions. Among the listed owners is Omni Health, who specifically owns 2 parcels that are impacted by the projects. The value of the acquisitions for these parcels, as proposed in the appraisal prepared by the city's consultant, was $69,300. This was rejected by the owner, who later obtained a secondary independent appraisal that valued the take at $260,000. The problem with this secondary appraisal is that it put a value on an existing road easement. And per Caltrans acquisition requirements, which we're required to follow, the cap on that road easement value is $1. And I don't have the backstory behind the $1 rule, but regardless, we can't factor in the suggested road easement price with our purchase value. So after countering the seller's offer, the consultant is recommending or suggesting a total purchase price of $145,000 will get this acquisition completed. That includes $130,000 for the land, the secondary appraisal, and then closing costs. So tonight's requested action is to authorize the purchase of this right-of-way included in the parcels listed in your staff report from Omni Health for a purchase price up to $145,000. And budget action is not required because the existing capital improvement program has this factored into the budget. So with that, I can address any questions or concerns you might have.
Council questions, comments, or concerns? Otherwise, if I'm hearing none, I need a motion and a second to carry, please.
I'll make the motion.
I have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Olvera, second by Councilmember Espinoza. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Prout,
Yes.
Olvera,
Yes.
Espinoza,
Yes.
and Givens.
Yes. Last but certainly not least, Mr. Esselman, we are doing the discussion and direction regarding separate rezoning processes. Separate rezoning process versus continuing general plan update to accommodate housing needs.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and Council. The purpose of tonight's item is to inform you about a potential timing issue related to the rezoning requirement in our housing element and to request your direction on how staff should proceed. As you know, we recently, about a year ago, approved and it certified a housing element. Within that housing element, go ahead and go to the first slide, please. Sorry about that. Go ahead and go to the next slide. In that housing element, there's a set of programs to help facilitate housing development over the 6th cycle of the housing element itself. Specifically, program 1.1 of the housing element requires that the city rezone at least 187 acres to a minimum density of 20 units per acre, with the assumption that at least 25% of those units would be affordable to lower income households. This rezone is necessary to accommodate a shortfall of 935 units that were under the city's regional housing needs allocation, or RHNA. Under Government Code Section 65583, rezoning must occur within 3 years of the adoption of the housing element. And therefore, our housing element was adopted on March 5th, 2024, which means the rezoning should be completed by March 5th, 2027. And R2D2 is going to assist me. Let's go ahead and go on to, did we go on to the next one? Okay. Okay, great. Staff's current approach to accommodate this.
It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, seriously.
Silence your phone.
Staff's current approach was to complete the rezoning requirement through the general plan update process. As you know, we're going through a general plan process to change the land use designations within the city. Part of that, part of state law is that you also have to have consistent zoning with those land use designations. The general plan update identifies sites to meet the housing elements rezoning requirement. And based on our most current timelines, the tentative adoption for the general plan update is the winter of 2026-27, which is very close to that March 2027 date. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. There are a few challenges I wanted to bring up with the general plan update process, which we've been working on for basically about the last 8 to 10 months. And we've gotten very far. 2 general plan advisory committee meetings. We're starting to finalize our circulation plan, which is basically the skeleton for the general plan update. And then the meat is the land use that goes around that circulation plan. And very soon, we'll be providing that circulation plan to the general plan advisory committee for their comment. However, preparing a general plan can also be very unpredictable. Public feedback can often change over time. New stakeholders and advocacy groups may engage the process very late. The city council may turn over, and there may be shifting priorities with a new makeup of the council, as well as new state law can emerge in the middle of the process that forces us to sort of change course in our general plan update. Therefore, as a result, there is a risk that the general plan adoption and implementation may slip beyond that March 5th, 2027 date. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. There are consequences to this, possible consequences to this. HCD can revoke its findings that the housing element is in compliance, which can jeopardize funding. The city could have fewer protections against denial of housing projects through the Housing Accountability Act. The Attorney General could refer HCD or Housing and Community Development Department could refer the city to the Attorney General, who could sue and compel rezoning and seek penalties. Per Senate Bill 35, qualifying housing projects could be approved by right by passing discretionary review. If rezoning is missed, the city would have to identify and rezone new set of sites within 1 year. And those sites must allow by right housing. So again, discretionary action could be revoked. And finally, the builder's remedy could be invoked where regardless of zone, if a housing element is decertified, you're allowed to put in low income housing in any zone. So with that, go ahead and go to the next slide, please. There's sort of a decision point that the staff wanted to consult the council about. Given the timing concerns that I've just described, staff is requesting direction from your council on 2 possible paths. Continue the rezoning process through the ongoing general plan update process, or break off the rezoning process and begin a separate staff or city-initiated rezoning process concurrently with the general plan update, sort of to bring that rezoning make it go a little faster than the general plan process itself. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please.
Can I stop you now? So what does the timing do with either one of those?
That's what I'm gonna get to right now. The timing, my thought is that possibly through a rezoning process, it could go a little faster than the general update process. But there are definitely pros and cons to these 2 approaches.
Yes, I realize that because I've read it. So
Yeah.
I think it's important that we get it done before March 27th. So whatever it takes.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely do agree. But again, those sort of processes can be unpredictable. depending on feedback, depending on, you know, your feelings about it, the number of general plan advisory committee meetings that are necessary to sort of come to concurrence about the plan. We're certainly working in earnest to try to meet that deadline. And that's why shortly thereafter with the housing element, I went right into getting the general plan update going. So, as I said, there are a couple of pros and cons to the two options, as you can see on the slide. The pros for continuing with the rezoning of the general plan update. It aligns the zoning with the update general plan policies more closely. Outreach and environmental review for the general plan update can cover rezoning as opposed to a separate sort of outreach process with a separate rezoning process. It saves staff time and consultant costs by combining the efforts into one process. The general plan EIR can also cover the rezoning as opposed to a potential secondary CEQA process through a separate rezoning process. The cons are that the general plan can slip past the deadline and creating a risk of delay. The general plan continue with the general plan update process may lack site-specific detail or urgency as opposed to rezoning process. Additional rezonings can complicate and prolong the general plan update process, and controversial rezonings may attract broader opposition when tied to the general plan update. As opposed to option number 2, which is the separate rezoning process concurrent with the general plan, it can potentially move faster than the general plan update, making it more likely that we can meet that deadline. It allows more focused outreach analysis and negotiation for specific sites. It keeps rezonings out of a broader, more contentious general plan debate. Some of the cons are that the rezoning must be consistent with the general plan, and therefore, if we change the general plan update, we may have to do some rezoning down in the further down in the future. It would require more staff and CEQA resources to go with a separate general rezoning process. There would be separate community engagement and hearings that would be needed. And there is a risk of piecemeal planning if not tied to the broader general plan update policy framework. Go ahead and go to the next one. What it can really get boiled down to is this. If we continue rezoning through the general plan update process, it is possibly slower, but less expensive, and probably less potential for conflicts between the zoning and the re-land use designating in the city. At the same time, if we did a separate city-initiated rezoning process concurrently with the general plan update, it's possibly faster, but is more likely more expensive because instead of one CEQA process, you would have to do 2. There's probably going to be additional consultant costs. Again, we're a mighty planning department of 3, but the general plan update is already a very laborious process, and to add another rezoning process on top of it could make it even more expensive. And there is no guarantee that either process can be completed before March 5th, 2027 deadline, even with the best of intentions. My personal feeling is that probably the general plan update, continuing with that is probably the best way to continue going. Just kind of keep going, keep working on in earnest to sort of get it done by the deadline. But I just wanted to make you aware, because of the unpredictable nature of general plan update processes, the outreach, having the pivot and shift, the fact that there may be additional laws that I have to contend with maybe a year or 2 down the line that can slow it down. There is some risk of us missing this deadline, and there are potential ramifications to that risk. What I can also say is that we're currently working on a few projects where low-income housing is going to be coming before you pretty soon. I think we can probably say to HCD that in good faith, we are working towards our RHNA numbers. We immediately started a process of a general plan update right after the housing element as sort of the vehicle for this rezoning. I think there's probably some opportunities, even if we miss the deadline, to sort of plead our case, but I certainly wanted to make you aware of this risk early on in the process, just so that you could provide some guidance or your own thoughts on the way the staff should continue on down the line. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions, comments, or concerns, council? Steve, I have at least one.
Sure.
So separating this out, though I understand what you're saying and trying to get ahead of the March 5th deadline, I think is critical. Does this allow more flexibility into the where and how and when aspect of managing the arena numbers outside of the general plan update? Meaning, if we're going to talk about zoning for residential and meeting certain criterias, does this give us a little bit more flexibility in how we do that that maybe is not tied to the GP? And I only say that because the GP is, it's such a vast,
Right.
it encompasses so much that does this assist with kind of getting a little bit more into the weeds on that specific element and saying, hey, you know what, we want to be cautious where we put this and what we do with it? Would it help in that area, or is it kind of just like a, not really?
You know, it's kind of like you're going ahead and focusing on the land use element first, particularly low income housing, as opposed to the other elements of the general plan update, like safety, hazards, where that's not really tethered so much towards housing and where you place
Right.
housing. It may constrain housing in some ways. You obviously don't put stuff in a flood zone or things of that nature. But we still would have to pick out where we want to be, where we would want these things to be located. We'd have to reach out to property owners.
It's still so
Very similar to the general plan update
It's still
process.
very tied to general plan. I can't really see pulling it out unless there's a way that allows us, again, that flexibility to manage this and kind of protect the city as a whole.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I would look at saying pulling it out. Because to me, I think they're both going to walk the same path. The timeline is going to be the same. CEQA timeline is, I mean, if you're lucky and you get 12 months, great, but it's an 18 to 24 month process. So
Right,
no matter which way you look at it, you're at that timeline.
right.
You're at that date.
Yeah, I mean, I debated whether to bring this forward to you because my first initial thought is I don't know how much benefit we get by bifurcating this process, a separate zoning with the general plan update. So at the end, you're going to have to kind of bring it back and tie them back together. But I more wanted to just make you aware that we're working hard, but there is a risk, even 2 years out, that we may not make this deadline. We're going to work like heck to make it. But there's a lot of things just out of our control. You know, it was like 4 passes before I got the housing element done, you know, and
This has probably taken a little bit more of a limelight just due to the recent housing requests that have come through, right? So
Yeah.
now it's one of those like, well, maybe we should have done this before, or maybe we need to think about it. So it might take more of that limelight out just because of that. But I think we're still going to miss some key components if we don't maintain it with the GPA.
yeah, and I mean, the whole point of the general plan update really is to do that sort of master vision document. And then the zoning really is where the rubber meets the road. It's where the law enforces the vision of the general plan. Again, I was debating on whether to bring this to you, but because of the risk, I thought I wanted to make you aware of the risk and sort of get your consensus on, should we mitigate that risk by the possibility that a separate rezoning process would make us go a little faster at a cost? Or do we continue on with the very real intent and the good faith work to get it done by the deadline? But if we don't, we'll have to see what that ramification is. But I wanted to make you aware of that risk and give you an opportunity
And the
to,
risk is either way. If you
It-
either one of them, it's still a risk.
yes.
Just that you're gonna have to be better organized with your staff and everybody involved to make this keep moving.
Yeah, I mean, and we are. I mean, we're we're doing our best to keep it going. So,
Any other questions or comments in regards to said item? If none, this is just for discussion purposes. I think at this point, maintaining where you're at on the general plan is the right method to take at this.
status quo. Okay,
Yeah.
that's really
think
all
we're
I
kind of
needed
in
from you.
agreements to the same thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I thank you for your time. I just wanted to make you aware so that, you know, 2 years from now, if I give you this, I'm going to get yelled at, you know, at least I'll let you know now.
Do you remember
Oh,
that
yeah, you
day
did
on
yell at me a
August
little bit.
19th? Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. All right, with that said, that's the last item on the docket for our management reports. Now for my favorite question of the night. City manager comments and reports.
There are no city manager
Oh.
reports. However, I would comment, I believe that the city of Shafter had the first compliant housing element in Kern County. Is that correct, Steve? Yeah, so we're well ahead of the bar, but still having stuff. So just want to point that out.
No, we have to keep moving.
I'm gonna chalk that up to a city manager comment on that one. 1 in 6 months is not bad. Department director comments and reports.
No department director comments or reports.
With that said, we are going to adjourn for this evening. The closed session was removed from the agenda for prior approval. With that said, I need a motion and a second for adjournment.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Prout, second by Councilmember Espinoza. All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Same sign for opposed, hearing none.